Most parents think their young adults need more motivation, more discipline, or more consequences. But what if the real problem isn't laziness at all? What if their nervous system feels overwhelmed by uncertainty almost all the time? I work with autistic young adults who are incredibly intelligent, thoughtful, creative, capable, and yet they freeze when they need to send an email or make a phone call or start a project or look for a job or go to class or a course online or drive or even get out of bed some days. From the outside, it can look like avoidance and procrastination and screen addiction, defiance, or laziness or failure to launch. But underneath that behavior is often something very different. It's a nervous system that feels overloaded, a nervous system that has started interpreting ordinary life as too unpredictable, too overwhelming, too much to manage. And until we understand that, we'll keep trying to solve the wrong problem. One of the biggest misunderstandings I see is the idea that if they were really capable, they would just do it. But nervous system overwhelm doesn't work that way. When the nervous system is stuck in survival mode, everyday tasks can begin to feel enormous. Making phone calls can feel like climbing up a mountain. Starting an assignment can feel physically painful. Leaving the house can trigger panic and shutdown and nausea and dizziness and exhaustion or complete paralysis and pain. And many autistic young adults are living with nervous systems that are already processing more sensory input, more social anxiety, more emotional intensity, more cognitive load than most people realize. So when that piles on top of their nervous system, it stops saying, "This is uncomfortable," and starts saying, "I don't know if I can handle this." That's a completely different experience. Now, here's the important part. Understanding that does not mean we remove all expectations or give up on growth or assume they can't build a self-reliant life. Actually, the opposite. Growth still matters deeply. We know that responsibility matters. Taking action matters. But the path forward changes because pressure without understanding usually creates more shutdown. Shame creates more paralysis. Criticism creates more overload. And many young adults end up trapped in a cycle where they avoid because they feel overwhelmed. Then they feel ashamed for avoiding. Then the shame makes the nervous system even more overwhelmed, which creates even more avoidance. Parents often see the behavior, but they don't always see the uncertainty. And honestly, many young adults don't understand what's happening either. They often think, "Oh, I'm lazy," or "I'm failing," or "something's wrong with me," and "why can everybody else do this except me?" That internal shame becomes incredibly heavy, especially for autistic young adults who know they're intelligent, but can't seem to consistently do what they intend to do. The gap between intention and action can become deeply painful. That's why I spend so much time teaching families about nervous systems, because behavior makes more sense when we understand overwhelm. And here's something important I've been thinking a lot lately. Many young adults say, I don't feel safe. But what if that's not the end of the conversation? What if it's the beginning? What if that feeling is actually a trailhead, pointing us toward understanding what feels uncertain, overwhelming, unpredictable, painful, or too much for the nervous system right now? Because unsafe can mean 100 different things. It can mean, I don't know what's expected. I'm afraid I'll fail. I don't know how this conversation will go. My sensory system is overloaded. I don't know how to recover if things go badly. And they went badly the last time, so I can predict it's going to go badly this time. And once we understand the uncertainty underneath the overwhelm, we can actually begin helping the nervous system differently. Now, that does not mean that every uncomfortable feeling should be avoided. The goal is not eliminating discomfort. The goal is building capacity, helping the nervous system slowly understand I can do hard things. I can tolerate discomfort. I can survive uncertainty. I can take action even when I don't feel fully ready. That's how self-reliance grows, not through constant rescue, but also not through shame and pressure, through right-sized steps. Growth does require discomfort, but growth does not happen in overwhelm. There's a sweet spot where the nervous system feels challenged enough to grow without becoming so overloaded that it shuts down. That's the zone we're trying to help young adults find. One thing I often tell parents is this: confidence usually comes after action, not before it. A lot of young adults are waiting to feel motivated and certain and calm and confident or ready. But the nervous system healing often works in reverse. Action comes first. Then the nervous system slowly learns, oh, maybe I can handle this. That's why tiny wins matter so much. Not because they look impressive on the outside, but because they help recalibrate the nervous system inside. This is also why I created the peace framework. When families get stuck in spirals of anxiety and frustration and shutdown and conflict, peace helps slow things down. P for pause. Something feels off. Let's stop escalating for a moment. E for empathize. Your brain and body are being smart right now. It makes sense you feel the way you do. A, align. What uncertainty is the nervous system trying to solve? C, collaborate. What can we make a little easier, clearer, or more predictable? E, experiment. Let's try one right-sized step instead of demanding perfection. That last part is especially important. Experimentation, not perfection. Because many autistic young adults are terrified of doing things wrong, failing, looking incompetent, or disappointing people, especially themselves. And perfectionism quietly exhausts the nervous system. I also want parents to hear this clearly. Your young adult does not need you to believe they are helpless, but they do need you to understand that overwhelm is real. There's a huge difference between nothing is wrong and your nervous system is overloaded, but I believe you can build tolerance capacity. That second message creates hope. And if you're a young adult watching this yourself, I want you to know this: you're not broken. Your nervous system may be overwhelmed. You may have developed avoidance patterns. You may have lost confidence in yourself. But that does not mean you are incapable of growth. The goal is not becoming fearless. The goal is learning. You can feel discomfort without letting discomfort completely control your life. That's a skill. And skills can be built slowly, gently, repeatedly, the right size step at a time. If this video makes sense with you, let me know in the comments and what part stood out the most. And if you're a parent or young adult trying to build more self-reliance without shame, pressure, or burnout, I'd love for you to subscribe. Thanks for being here.